let's start the 50th video of this series talking about the customer support agent, one of the use cases existent into the Anthropic SDK. Okay, let's first of all take a look into the beginning of this guide. Basically, it's a customer support agent where it follows the same structure of the ticketing routing, I guess. First of all, structuring what is the best use case for that. Into this case, high volume of repetitive queries. Some key indicators that should employ LAM like cloud to automate portions of customer support process. Because for sure, the main use case of support agent normally is handled by a human agent. This type of human agent in some cases could not be handled by LLM depending to the specificity of your case. Here we have some definitions on in what case it should be good to use it. My point is that Anthropic mentioned here, it's basically the high volume of repetitive queries, need for quick information synthesis, 24/7 availability requirement, rapid scaling during peak periods, and constant brand voice. Basically, something that need to have a patternization, need to handle high volume, and need to be very scalable and have a very great uptime serving environment into this case. So consideration, you can handle it to be more natural. Cloud can handle open-ended queries. Great. Great. Scalability, multilingual support. Multilingual, it's a very great point too, because you can just make the prompt on time, make sure that cloud it's structured to receive, to return into the language of the user into your prompt, and the LLM will be able to return into a user's language what's very good to a better user experience. Okay, define a ideal chat interaction. This is the next step. An example of the flow, it's basically the customer initiate the super chat experience, cloud return token of the user, ask about insurance for new electric cars, cloud provides relevant information about electric vehicles. Basically, here we have the my flow. You need to structure that into use case, right? Into this specific case, it's insurance, car insurance customer support, right? And basically here we have the beginning of the question. Cloud will return with greetings for the user to ask about insurance car for insurance costs for this electric car. The customer will need to question Cloud about their unique needs for electric vehicles. Ask some additional question of top questions. Cloud clarifies that does not discuss unrelated topics. Right, it's a very good point because Cloud just can answer points that it has in your prompt, defined the prompt basically. So the customer express interest in insurance quote, ask a set of questions, send a request to use the quote generation API 2, very good, and receive the response, and ask follow-up questions. So the first point to get here, it's to understand if your case is suitable for a cloud use. Probably will be, depending, sure you'll have a lot of points, but probably will be if you need high volume, quick information synthesis, and to be able to handle the cost related to this specific integration. How it's the ideal scenario. So into this case is basically the user start the chat experience, say hi, basically to close the internet. Ask about insurance, how with the insurance company the customer need to ask, I want to make an insurance for my electric car. uh, Basically here the next step will provide some information on what type of electric cars it's being handled by this company. You need to define it in the prompt. It will be more well exemplified into the next pages of the documentation, but let's proceed. Here the user will ask a question related to unique needs for your use case that have not been well defined here into this aspect. The customer will ask something non-related to the cloud capabilities, what need to be handled for sure. If it's something that cloud does not know, it need to directly answer that. It's not their business basically at the moment, or to send the user for someone that could answer this type of question. The customer express interest into insurance quote. So this is the most interesting aspect. Basically, the cloud will ask some additional questions if needed. Will confirm with the user and send the request to quote generation API, probably using a tool. We'll see the next steps. And you receive the information and talk to user. Very like a chatbot, a normal chatbot, but with a layer of generative AI to make more natural to the user. Very interesting. The customer asks follow-up questions just to get more information and guides the customer to next steps. For example, some specific link to proceed, some other channel information, right? It need to be adapted to your real world use case. But normally it would be greetings, ask about my product, asks additional questions related to your main product, but based in user needs, not answering points that code is not intended to answer. Be able to get pricing or make the scheduling with your internal API, and answer additional questions if needed. Basically is that you can have more flows, but I believe that's a very good generalization. Break the interaction into anchor tasks. Great. Here are key tasks associated with example. Greeting and general guidance. Basically the code need to make a very great greeting. Product information, get product information. Each might need a RAG integration. RAG it's when you can integration one data into the conversation. Fruit normally a vectorial database, right? So the LLM could make searches internally to return the growth of data. Conversation management, steer topic, redirect of topic, okay, and quote generation. Established success criteria. It was, as I mentioned, into dictate routine. Example basically is when my answers are correctly, when the bot is getting the right decisions, and basically that. And it's necessary to define clear success criteria. So mainly, when the user say hi, it needs to return greeting. If not, it's an error, right? How many times the user send the greeting and returning the correct response? How many times the user asking for product information and receiving the right response? How many time, basically that. So here we have some metrics that could be used. Here are criteria and benchmarks that can be used to evaluate how successful code performance to define the tasks. Require comprehension accuracy, response relevance, response accuracy, station provision relevance, type adherence, content generation effectiveness, escalation efficiency. Basically, if the cloud it understand what's been asked, if the response is relevant, if the response is accurate, if the response has some citation that could be used to make sure that the information is true, if there are some adherence with the topic, if it's not unrelated, if this content is effective for your purpose, and if the system it's been escalated wisely. We have other points that could be used: maintenance of the sentiment, rate of deflection, customer satisfaction score, and average handle time. You can see that these metrics here are based into the how the system should work, and these criteria are basically to understand how the user is getting your system, right? So how it works, and if the user it's like it's getting a good experience, right? If it's having the expected behavior,